All right. We're recording. For some reason, I see you, though, and not me. You know what I mean?
It's 'cause I was talking.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll just get started. So what our purpose of this whole little webinar chat thing is just to kind of go over the nutrition portion of things for you guys and to help answer any questions, kind of share with you what has worked for us. Jillian and I were both in your shoes as challengers. You know, in the past, for me, it was about 2 years ago. And so we've kind of been in your shoes and kind of figured out what works for us in terms of fitness and nutrition. And now we're not here as experts, but we're just here as people who have been through it and can give you tips on what works for us and our schedules with our busy families and all of that. So that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we will make it short and sweet and give you some helpful tips. So Jill, I still see you though. Why is that? I guess it doesn't matter. Oh wait, here.
Can you see Angie?
I'm still so bad at this. You three are at the top of my screen, but like usually the person talking is the big person, right? And you're the big person. I guess it doesn't matter.
Angie, who do you see?
Huh?
Angie, who do you see?
Whenever you talk, I see you, and then whenever Kristen talks, I see her
on
the big screen.
Okay, good.
You're in the big screen for me right now, Kristen.
Okay, yeah, it just switched over. So anyway, it's kind of weird. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is kind of go over the containers and how I work them into my day. I've been using the containers for about a year now. And it's my favorite way to stay on track with nutrition. So most of the people in the group have a program that came with the containers. And if you don't, then you can buy the container separate if you want. I will say in the beginning, whenever I was using the containers, in the very beginning, I was kind of overwhelmed because they don't look very big when you just look at them. But it's really actually a lot more food than what you would expect. So you can look in your manual. It will tell you what the different colors represent. And then there's a list for every food group of all the foods acceptable within those colors. And then in your manual as well, you can figure out, there's an equation to help you figure out how many of the containers you get every day, right? So it basically tells you what portion sizes you need to have and how many of those portion sizes throughout your day. So what you're doing is you're giving yourself a very balanced diet, right? And so for me, before I started doing the containers, I was eating healthy food, like lots of fruits, lots of healthy fats, and that type of thing. But I was just, the balance, the portions were all out of whack. So I was eating the right food, just not in the right amounts. And I can tell you, as soon as I started using the portion containers and really stuck to it, I immediately had more energy. And I just felt full longer, and I just felt great. You know, when you're eating right, it's light and it's not like greasy and like kind of weighing you down almost. So anyway, with the containers, you have the number that you should have each day of each container. And so what I do, I'm just going to show you my notebook. I live by this notebook. So I just open up a page in my notebook, and on one side I make a little grid and I do the days of the week. And then on the other side, I list out the things that I need to buy at the store, and this is what I take to the store with me. So what I do is I highly recommend when you're planning your meals that you start with dinners. A lot of people look at their days and start and plan down breakfast, lunch, dinner, and all your snacks. But what I do is I plan backwards. So I plan my dinners first, and then I go back and plan the rest, and I'll explain that reasoning. With the containers, you get a certain amount each day. And so if you know what you're having for dinner every day, then you can plan your day backwards according to what containers you have left for the day. I hope that makes sense. What I was finding in the beginning was I was eating the containers that I felt like throughout the day, and then in the evening I was ending up with this really random mix of containers, and it was not a cohesive meal. So what I started doing was planning backwards. One thing that I do that I think is really helpful is to go online, especially on Pinterest. You can search 21-day fix approved recipes, and these portion containers first came with 21-day fix over a year ago, actually probably 2.5 years ago. A lot of the newer programs we have out also come with the portion containers, and so any recipes that you would search out that are 21-day fix approved would also work for whatever program you're doing with the containers. Most of those recipes will give you the container equivalents. So you know, like if I eat this portion, then it's equivalent to this many containers. So what I've done personally is gone on Pinterest and just pinned a bunch of 21-day fix approved recipes and just started trying them, you know, once or twice a week, just trying new recipes until I found like a good pool of recipes that I liked and my whole family liked. And then that's kind of what I pull from now. Your manual also comes with some great recipes that you can look through and try as well. So when you're planning, you plan out your dinners first, and then you know what containers you're eating and you can plan backwards. For me, let me say one more thing. So as I'm going through my Pinterest, looking at the recipes and deciding what I'm having for the week, I write it down, and then on the other side, I make my grocery list. It's all right here, okay? And then when I go to the store, this is what I stick to. I get my shopping done a lot quicker because I'm not going up and down every aisle trying to decide, do we have this? Do we need this? I don't know. So anyway, then when you know what dinners you're having, you can plan your day backwards. So for me, I drink Shakeology every day, so I know that's one of my meals. And then most of the time, I have the same thing for either breakfast or lunch. I actually kind of like sticking to, for the most part, the same type of foods because it helps me stay on track. And I don't mind the monotony of it because you know, the recipes that I like. So anyway, you can kind of plan your day backwards from there with your breakfast and your lunch and your snacks for the day. And then you have made sure ahead of time that you're going to get all of the containers in that you need to get in a day's time. That is basically my strategy. You know, we talked in the group last week when we were doing the Getting Started Right week about meal planning and meal prep. So this would be your meal planning. I do it once a week. I know Jill does it twice a week. And then your prep. You just need to find a time in the day or in the week that you can just carve out maybe even an hour, maybe not even that long, to, you know, clean vegetables and fruits, chop stuff up, maybe even make a batch of meat so that it's left over and you can go to that later in the week, or defrost your meat and that type of thing. You can take like an hour out of one day to do that type of stuff. It makes everything so much easier and so much quicker when it's time to prepare dinner. One thing that I've started doing that I really like is buying a big thing of chicken breast at Walmart or wherever I'm shopping on my day that I go to the grocery store. And then one day during the week, I will grill all of the chicken breasts, like 5 or 6 chicken breasts. And I just basically brush olive oil on them and then season them. And then I grill them. And then you can use that chicken breast, that cooked chicken breast, for so many recipes. So many recipes call for chicken breast or lean meat. And you can just, you know, chop it up if it's in some type of pasta dish. We slice them sometimes and then put them on sandwiches and make like a panini. But there are so many things you can do with chicken breast. You can, like I said, chop it up and put it into like a Mexican taco type thing. There's just so much you can do with chicken breast. And it's nice to have that there as a healthy option instead of like looking in your fridge and like when you're in a hurry and not knowing what to grab. And then with meal prep, the other thing is just, you know, planning ahead. And whenever I sit down to do this, I not only write down like what we're going to have each night for dinner, but if we have an event that I know is going to take up our evening, then I plan accordingly. And that goes on here too. So like tomorrow night, Mila is graduating from preschool. So we are just having leftovers tomorrow, something quick and simple that we can, I hear little feet, that we can do easily. Sometimes for those types of days, I plan crock pot meals so that I can just put it on in the morning and it's done in the evening and it's not really time consuming. So just spending that time, I know it's time that you have to set aside, but spending that time doing a little bit of planning and doing a little preparing makes a huge difference down the road later in the week when you are in a pinch for time and you need to grab something quick. Because, if you're not prepared, you're going to grab something crappy. That's just the bottom line for the most part. One little saying that always sticks out to me when I think about clean eating and planning and preparing is, it's like the 6 P's, I think. Prior proper planning prevents poor performance. So just think about that. It's worth the investment of an hour of your time or 2 hours of your time at the beginning of the week to be able to stay on track throughout the week. So I think, hold on. I think that's all I have. I'm going to throw it over to you, Jill.
Okay. So Kristen is always great. Here's the thing about Kristen and I. She is a lot more organized than I am and wonderful with meal prepping and planning. And so I tried, starting this month, I tried her planning dinner and then going back from there, and it has worked out so much better. I love it. So when I go to start meal prep, I also plan my dinners, and then I go back from there and figure out the containers the rest of the day. Another thing that I do is, and I do it every week because it helps me. The thing is if you're, Kristen, am I little still?
Yeah.
Am I? That's okay. If you are, my biggest problem was that I would get hungry. So you have your dinner planned out, right? And if you meal prep your lunches, you have that. But during those times, I would get hungry. And that is when I have the hardest time staying on track, staying on my diet. I don't have a hard time finding healthy recipes for dinner or lunch or breakfast. It's in between the day when it's crazy. So I have made sure that I've found snacks that will take up that time in the middle. And if you go and get the little snack baggies, those are, if you fill one of those up with strawberries or celery, those are about the size of your container. So what you can do is get a Tupperware, put it in your fridge, and then fill it with like a row of strawberries cut up, a row of celery sticks or whatever. I'm allergic to celery, weird, I know, so I can't have that. But I'll do like grape tomatoes or cucumber slices, or I will have, even in the fridge, just almonds in those snack baggies. It takes 25 minutes to go through and fill up those snack baggies. You don't have to measure them after a little while, because you know that when you fill up that snack baggie, that is your portion control. So then I go in there and I say, okay, I've got 2 purples and 2 greens and they're ready for me. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. Another thing that I wanted to, and then as far as like lunches go, most of the time, I make a tiny bit extra for lunch the next day for me and my husband to send him off to work. So that's another thing that can help you with lunches. So if you've got your dinner planned out, like Kristen said, she starts with her dinner. If you plan a little bit more, that takes care of your lunch. So then basically the only thing that you're really meal prepping is your breakfasts and your snacks, because you have your dinner that you make already. Everybody makes dinner. Most people make dinner. So you have your dinner ready, and then that takes care of your lunch. And then you prep your snacks for the week. And you can do things like, I will do chicken, because like Kristen said, I bake my chicken. I should start grilling it, but I bake my chicken. I do some brown rice for my healthy carbs. And then I throw some hard-boiled eggs on top of the stove, and I do that all at once in an hour, and I'm done. That's my meal prep. But I wanted to touch on something. Am I really pixelated, Kristen?
It's not too bad.
Okay. I wanted to talk to you guys about something. Kristen's amazing at talking about meal prep. Last time in our last group, I talked a little bit about this, the importance of why you want to meal prep and why this will be the most successful part of the 30 days, right? If you are in here, you invested in your challenge pack. You invested in your time every day. You're working out every day, right? So you want to make sure that you are investing in your meal prep. Here's the deal. I say that Kristen's probably heard this 50 times by now. I always use an example so you can kind of get an idea of what happens if you aren't eating the right foods. One time I was driving to the gym. I ate a Reese's peanut butter cup. I looked on the back of the package. I don't really count calories, but I looked on the back of the package. I saw it was like 250 calories. So when I got to the gym, this was before Beachbody and I had the amazing programs, but when I got to the gym, I thought I'm going to get on this treadmill and I'm going to see how long it takes me to run this off. I almost ran like a 5K. It was just over 2 miles. And I had to run that much to burn off that Reese's peanut butter cup. And the reason why I tell you guys this is because you cannot work off a bad diet. You just can't. You can't stay ahead of it. It's really hard. And so if you are making sure you set yourself up by meal prepping, by eating healthy foods, then you will have the ultimate success. Don't spend all this money on a nutrition program and a workout and all of your time. I mean, I know for moms and people especially, it's hard to carve out those 30 minutes. Do not waste that part on the nutrition part. Don't throw it away. It's just not worth it. Also, another thing that I want you guys to be thinking about in the next few weeks is if you've had a hard time, if nutrition was what you had a hard time with, we have the check-ins. And it's not just so we can watch you guys and see what you're eating. It is so you can build a habit of food journaling. The reason why is, I'll tell you guys, I was an emotional eater. I used to eat because I was upset or because I was happy. Even if I went somewhere, I was like, let's celebrate with donuts. Or if I was upset, I remember when I found out my son was breech, I sat down on the couch and ate a whole thing of Oreos because I was so upset. And so you have triggers. There's things that trigger and make you want to eat unhealthy, or there's habits that you formed. Maybe it's in the afternoon, or maybe it's when you get home, or maybe it's at nighttime. You like to sit down in front of the TV and eat that junky food or the stuff that's not good for you. So kind of keep track of your food journal and take a mental note of when you most want to eat those foods that aren't good for you and write that down so you're aware of it. We want you to become aware of what has been the problem in the past and what you can change in the future for the way that, for the things that weren't the best about your nutrition. We're not doing it to say, oh my gosh, look at what you ate. We want you to be aware. We want to teach you guys to be able to do this on your own and have success in the future and be able to just rock it. So when you're food journaling, also write down the times that you're having a hard time with the foods that you want to cheat on. Is it when you go out to eat with friends? Is it when you're going to a party? I know everybody does that. Everybody does that. It's part of the celebration. But just kind of take notes so you can start working on those not bad habits, but different habits that maybe weren't the best nutrition choices. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit so you guys can understand why we food journal and why we want you guys to kind of get a hold of your nutrition. Kristen, do you want to wrap it up? That's all I have for this. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. I actually have a couple more things I want to say that I thought about while you were talking. I'm literally,
awesome.
I don't know what the deal is, but, oh, there we go. Okay. So one thing I thought about whenever she was talking is one thing that we really highly suggest is to just get rid of those foods that are your trigger foods, or those foods that are your comfort foods, the things that you turn to whenever you make bad choices. Just get rid of them. Let me give you an example. Today, I was working away, messaging people, working on my coaching stuff, and it was time to go get Bryn from school. And the two little ones were still asleep. And I was like, oh, this happens almost every day. They're sound asleep and have to go wake them up to pick Bryn up from school. So I go wake them up, get in the car. It's pouring down rain. I wait through the wait line at school. Lo and behold, I forgot Bryn had her Girl Scout meeting. And so I was like so frustrated with myself and annoyed because the kids were asleep, poor things. I had to wake them up. I could have let them sleep. I could have gotten a few things done around my house, and it would have been like a little more peace and quiet time, right? So I was seriously annoyed with myself, and all I really wanted to do was drink a soda or eat a candy bar. And I didn't because those things weren't here. If they were here, chances are I probably would have done it, you know? I mean, I'm not perfect. None of us are. So just remove that stuff that you know you're going to turn to when you're stressed or in a bad mood or whatever it is, or happy in Jillian's case. So just get rid of those things so that you're not tempted. The other thing I want to say is, listen, so for me, when I started this journey about 2 years ago, I am a very systematic person. I have a hard time thinking like 2 months down the road. I have to think about what's coming tomorrow. What do I have to get done for tomorrow? What do I have to get done for the next day? And so for me, taking on all of these changes at once was really overwhelming for me. And we realized that we all have different personality types, okay? So some people are the type of people that just want to jump in feet first and go all in. Some people have to kind of, how would I put it? Like, take it one step at a time, right? And that was me. So basically what I did was I tackled one bad habit at a time. I cut out my soda first, and then I started working on my breakfast and getting a healthy routine at breakfast. And then I started getting a healthy routine. And I just systematically went through and kind of cleaned up my diet that way. So what I'm trying to say is we really want to put an emphasis on progress over perfection, okay? Wherever you were when we started last week, as long as you are continuously making progress and taking steps towards becoming better in all areas, that's what we are happy about. Not expecting perfection, because you guys, none of us are perfect. And we all screw up from time to time. And it's an impossible standard to put on yourself to be perfect all the time. So just remember that. Progress over perfection, okay? If you are making those small steps each day over time, it's going to compound and you're going to see results. Now, let me just say this. You know, if I had taken the program I was using and the nutrition guide that I was using when I first started, and I jumped in feet first and got to it right away and stuck to it, would I have gotten results quicker? Of course I would have. But that's just not how I was. And I knew myself well enough to know I'm going to get overwhelmed if I try to do this all at once. So I did it the way that was best for me. Okay? So you need to know yourself. You need to step back and think, how am I going to best be able to handle all of this? And then you put an action, you know, you put a plan in place and then you put it into action. So just be realistic about your expectations coming out of it. Obviously, like Jillian said, the more you pair your exercise routine with an excellent clean eating meal plan, the better your results are going to be. When I first did 21 Day Fix Extreme and I followed the container system to a T, I got better results than I had ever seen, because I was leaning out because I was eating so lean, and then I was building muscle with Extreme. And so you just have to know, and you have to kind of set reasonable expectations when it comes to what you're putting in compared to what you're expecting out, okay? So obviously, if you are following your nutrition to a T, you're drinking your Shakeology, and you're working out to your program calendar, you're gonna get the best possible results, okay? So that's what we recommend, but we know that we all have different personality types, and that we all, you know, we have to approach it different ways, because that's the way we tick. So I don't have anything else. I can't think of anything else. I always think of something after we end, but I'm going to unmute everyone just to see if anyone has any questions.
Oh, Kristen, 10 minutes.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes. Does anybody have any questions?
I just wanted to add something too. Like Kristen was saying, the thing that I like about this program is that it can be adapted. It's like the same baseline. Sorry about Lincoln. He's passionate about it too. It's the same baseline, but it can be adapted to your needs, because I am someone that if I start something, I'm not as disciplined as most people to just like slowly. I am feet in first or I will fail miserably. That's just my type of thinking. And now I've gotten to the point to where I can stick with it the whole time, but I have donut Saturdays. And it took me a long time to build that up. It took me, it's because I had to stay disciplined. The thing that's wonderful about that is that you can tailor it to you. We're not going to charge you extra money at the end if you don't lose weight, or or not be proud of you. We want you to do the best results for you. We want you to be happy. We want you to be happy. And that is our end goal. And so I love how it's funny to listen to what Kristen did the first time, is how she like gingerly like went into it. And then I was like, I'm all in. And I did it that way. And now I've gotten to the point to where I can throw in my donut Saturdays or whatever, but just like we do the same program, but we're two totally different types of personalities and we do it in different ways, but we've both had results from it because we did it our style. We want you guys to make it your style.
Yes.
So,
the same thing.
yeah. Any questions?
We do the same thing. We do pizza night on Friday night.
Yeah.
Almost every Friday night. And you know what?
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, doing that actually keeps me more on track during the week because I don't want to like screw up my nutrition throughout the week because I want to enjoy myself when I eat my pizza on Friday. So
I agree.
That's just one strategy, but.
Also, if you're replaying this back and you have any questions, just ask us in the comments and we will answer them, or just ask Kristen or me or your coach. Definitely. And we'll answer them. Also, Kristen, let's put a recipe file in here that we can add our Pinterest recipes to. We'll do that, you guys. We'll put a recipe file.
Yes.
And you can just add the link to the recipe or the recipe in the comments. So I'll add a recipe photo in the comments. There will be recipes in there.
Yes, perfect. Then we can have a thread and all the recipes shared will be in one place. That's perfect. Yeah. I have one more thought. Oh, I know. If throughout this group you guys have questions about nutrition, about your workouts, about anything, share with the group. Just post it right in the group and then we can all see it and everybody can also see the answer to the question. And while I'm on the subject, this group is for you guys. The more that you come to the group, the more that you post in the group, share your triumphs, share your struggles, ask questions, the more you root each other on, the better it's going to be for everyone. This is a community. That's what the purpose is. It's a community to support one another. You know, a lot of people in your life might not really understand what it is that you're doing. A lot of people in my family, in my immediate family, don't even understand why I do what I do in terms of clean eating and exercise. So it's so nice to have that community that you can turn to whenever nobody else around you gets it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Come to the group often and really take advantage of it. It's for you guys. So any questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys for hopping on. It was good. We rocked it, Jill. I think it was a lot of great information. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are so excited that you are here with us in this group, and we're excited to support you. So, have a great night.
Okay. See you. Have a great night.
Thanks. You guys too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
How do I do this?